Welcome to the Filmed Live Musicals podcast, a podcast that goes behind the scenes of musicals that have been filmed live on stage. FilmedLiveMusicals.com features a searchable database of over 200 musicals from around the world and dating back to 1938. You can also sign up for our monthly newsletter and find upcoming streams in the calendar. Make sure to check it out at FilmedLiveMusicals.com. And now, on with the show. Filmed Live Musicals podcast. I'm your host, Luisa Lyons, and my guests today are from the multi-award winning musical Golden Lotus, writer and composer George Chiang and actor Harriet Chung. Based on the influential and often controversial Chinese novel Jin Ping Mei, Golden Lotus was developed in New York and Toronto before premiering in Hong Kong in 2014. Golden Lotus was filmed during its run in Hong Kong and has subsequently won over 60 awards at film festivals around the world. The musical was recently released on Stratford Festival streaming platform, Stratfest at Home. Welcome, George and Harriet.
Hello.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. So to start us off, can you briefly introduce yourselves?
Hi, my name is Harriet Chung.
I'm George Chiang. I'm the writer-composer of Golden Lotus. And Harriet was the star. She played Golden Lotus.
Thank you. And to start us off, what made you fall in love with musical theater?
Me. All right. Well, since I was born, I sing and I dance and I play the piano. So I don't think I have any other things this is destined for me. But when I was younger, I do my singing and dancing separately. So I didn't know that I can put them together until I come to Toronto. So I was exposed to a lot of musical in Toronto. It's like candies. So I said, oh my gosh, I can put all my skill together and go into musical theater. Then I never look back. I'm not just a ballerina anymore. And I have a very amazing opportunity that I joined Phantom of the Opera cast. So this opened my eyes and I never looked back.
And you, Harriet, we were talking before, you came from Hong Kong to Toronto.
Yes.
And to study ballet.
Yes, I was, that was my original plan. I auditioned for the National Ballet School and I thought I will, graduate and then I will go back to Hong Kong and go into dance company and be the White Swan. And that's it. But little that I know, when I come here and I got into a production, and the choreographer told me that, oh, Harriet, there is an audition tomorrow, Phantom of the Opera. You have to go. They're looking for dancers that can sing. So I said, no, I don't want to do musical. I want to be a dancer only. And he said, no, it's a very famous musical, and they want ballerina that can sing. This is you. I said, still I want to be in a dance company, and he said there's a lot of money in it. I was broke that time, so I said, okay, money is good, so I would try a little bit and then we'll see. And then I was very lucky. I did a very good audition. I didn't know that I would get it, but after I got it, I was rehearsing and I saw they put me in the show. They let me watch the show. I said, oh my gosh, this is what I am getting into. What was I thinking? I don't want to be a swan anymore.
Wow.
That opened my eyes. And when I was little in Hong Kong, I only know the Sound of Music. I love it. I will play it over and over again, like during typhoon season. So this is my only musical and I love it so much. I just enjoy watching it. I never think that I would be doing it. And when I started Phantom, I said, oh my gosh, this is my destiny. I will never look back. After that, when I do a dance shows, I said, I feel like I'm mute. I'm not able to express myself fully. So
that's so beautiful. I love that story.
Thank you.
And George, how about you?
For myself, I didn't really have an artistic background growing up, but I remember the first musical I saw, I was in university at the time, and my mother bought these 2 tickets to see this musical that I never heard of called Les Miserables, right? So she dragged me, and I just, went along with her because she got the tickets, expecting to be bored out of my mind. We had the very worst seats in the house in the very top row, nosebleed section. you couldn't get a worse seat than we were in. We were in the two worst seats. And I just sat there for 2 hours crying. And I was like, holy cow, what was that? Not a, it was like life-changing. And soon after that, I changed my university studies to theater. And I just started focusing on theater after that.
Wow.
Soon after, yeah. Like the
What
next
were
year.
you studying beforehand?
History. Yeah.
Huh.
So yeah. So then I started doing plays at school, and then a few years later, I did my first season as an actor at the Stratford Festival, doing Shakespeare, but it wasn't until I saw a musical called Notre Dame de Paris. It was a French musical. It was a touring show, and it came to Toronto. When I saw that musical, it never occurred to me, I dabbled in playwriting. I'd written a couple plays, but I'd never thought of writing a musical until I saw Notre Dame de Paris. Because when I saw Notre Dame de Paris, I was watching it. I was going, this makes so much sense to me. Like, I understand how they wrote this. I understand, like, structurally, I said, I could do this and I want to do this. This is what I want to do. So then I focused my writing on writing musicals.
Oh, wow. And had you studied music prior to that?
Well, I did piano growing up as a kid and some guitar. Yeah, but yeah, I came into the musical primarily planning to just write the libretto, and that's what I did at first. But then as I was writing, I had all these tunes that came into my head. And then I tried them out on people, and they said, yeah, these are pretty good. So then I said, yeah, maybe I'll compose it too. So there you go. And that's what
Wow.
happened.
Oh, this is so cool. I love that you both were so inspired by things that kind of came to you, that's very beautiful. It's like meant to be.
It's meant to be. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you two meet?
We met in the studio. I was dancing and he was doing a play.
Yeah, I was rehearsing a play.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was some dance in the play. And with her choreographer,
Yeah.
Mr. Sing Bang Fu. And then so we met at that studio. And that's the same play I met George Gao, who helped me with the music. So it was like really, it was from that play, which was called Dance in the Railroad by David Henry Hwang, that started it all. We met the core group, myself, George, Harriet.
Yeah, it's a fate, really.
It was fate.
It's all come together.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. I love that story. So let's come to the musical. What drew you to the novel Jin Ping Mei?
Well, like I told you, I was very moved by Les Miserables. And, being an Asian artist, I wanted to adapt something that was Asian or Chinese into a musical. So obviously I looked at the four great classics, but then I looked at Jin Ping Mei, which is considered the unofficial fifth great classic because it's banned. And then I read it. And I think I was at about page 100 when I said, oh my God, this is a musical. I can see it right now. I already can see this musical. So I just finished the book, and right after I finished the book, I started writing. I started drawing the outline, doing everything. Because yeah, by page 100, I could already see a musical there. It was the characters were amazing, and the story outline was just so riveting.
I'm curious about, you mentioned the four, what was the four great novels?
Yeah, there's an official four great novels that every Chinese school kid grows up learning. The Water Margin, Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Journey to the West, and Dream of the Red Chamber. Yeah. So I found those novels, they're very episodic. There's no cohesive storyline that's strung together. It's very episodic. Whereas Jin Ping Mei is like structured like a real novel with a strong storyline that connects all the chapters together and goes from one to the other. And that's the big difference. So you could actually adapt this one story into a musical.
And from what I remember reading, there's these novels were like an attempt to create like a Chinese canon that was not from the Western world. It was specifically Chinese, and a way to like build Chinese storytelling and build a Chinese canon of literature.
Definitely, this is the Chinese canon.
Yeah.
The 5 books I told about. But Jin Ping Mei is the unofficial 5th
And
because it's banned.
I love its controversial history because we were talking before that it's been banned. Could you talk a little bit more about that? That this story is still banned in China.
Well, a lot of people say, like, in the book, there's a lot of depictions of sexuality, and so it's been deemed kind of pornographic. There's a lot of scenes where there's that are sexual in nature, kind of like Lady Chatterley's Lover, something like that, right? But when you actually count the amount in the book that depicts that, it's actually a very small percentage. It's just peppered throughout here and there, right? But the actual story is amazing. So they also say it might have been banned also because it is a bit of an expose on the corruption of the Chinese government. So that's what people say. It's been banned because of pornography, but a lot of other people, like scholars, say it was probably more banned because it was depicting the Chinese, imperial government in not so good a way, because it does talk about corruption in the government, which I'm sure the government at the time didn't like.
And it's fascinating that we don't know who the author of this novel was. And there's all these theories. And I love, although it's been disproven, that the theory that the author wrote it and poisoned the bottom of the pages so that as they turned the pages and licked their finger, they would be killed.
Yeah, that's a cool story.
Yeah. And I also love that this was one of the first novels to talk about everyday people. It wasn't about knights and like heroes. It's about everyday regular citizens.
Exactly. That's what also drew me. Like, for example, Les Miserables. It's about regular people. And that's what I wanted. I didn't want to write something about kings and queens. I didn't want to write, Richard III or something. I wanted to write something about regular people, and Jin Ping Mei depicts that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we're now in 2024, and you started writing this quite a while ago now. Was it 2001?
Yeah, I started writing it in 2001.
Yeah. And then what led to you got selected for the ASCAP Foundation Disney Theatrical Productions Musical Theater Workshop? That's a little bit of a mouthful.
Yeah, so that happened pretty early, like 2003, I think. And then we were invited. Yeah, so we were the first Canadian musical ever invited. We were over 200 submissions, I was told. And it was a great experience. It was a 3-week workshop where you get to present your musical twice. And so once after the first week, and then you get another couple weeks to do revisions and then rehearse with the cast and then present it again at the end. So it really helped the musical, because I think the key thing it taught me was, because it really tightened it up. That's really tightened it up. So I think my first original 20 minutes got cut by like 7 or 8 minutes.
Wow.
That's how tight it got. And that remained in the musical since then. It was just such a good process,
Yeah. And Harriet, were you involved with it from that point?
Yeah, from the very, very beginning.
Yeah, we've had 2 actors involved right from the beginning. We had Harriet and Scott Watanabe, who was based in New York at the time, and he ended up playing the district intendant in Hong Kong. He's a Broadway veteran and an old friend, and he music directed it in New York for us.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And played the district intendant.
Yeah, and I worked with him in Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah. It all comes full circle.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he's one of the original members too, Scott.
Yeah.
Wow. So like I think it really speaks to like your love for the project and just, the extraordinary time it takes to put a musical together. This is not something that you came up with on a whim. It's like this has really been a labor of love over a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, in many ways, I sometimes, you get a little frustrated at how long it takes. But when I look back, I'm actually grateful in some ways because it really did take that long to develop it. Like the musical I had in 2013 is far different and not as good as the musical that we presented in 2000, no, 2003 in New York.
Mm.
Was not as strong as the musical we presented in Hong Kong in 2014. Those 11 years, we had more workshops and more rewrites and a lot more, working with the director and the cast. It went full circle. So by the time 2014 came around and we presented it, it was much stronger. So we needed that time. I had opportunities to produce it much earlier, even as early as 2003 or 4. I remember there was an off-Broadway company that was interested, but they wanted to make it a book musical as opposed to a sung-through musical because it was off-Broadway, they didn't think that they could handle that much music. So I said, as enticing as it was, this would have been a done deal and it would have been produced. I just said it's not. It's a sung-through musical, so I had to stick to my guns and turn down the deal. But now that what's happened and the way it's turned out, I'm really glad that I did that because it is a sung-through musical.
Yeah,
And
it's true to the intentions of what you wanted it to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what led? So you had workshops in New York and then Toronto through the Script Labs Engels Lehman Musical Theatre Workshop, and then how come it came to be produced in Hong Kong?
Well, we knew Ivy Chung, who owns a ballet company in school in Hong Kong.
Yeah, my sister.
It always comes back to the dance. Oh, she's your sister.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's relative. She said, you guys have to do this. You guys have to do this here because I have been telling her about this project forever.
But she hadn't heard it. So then I went to her studio and then I showed her the entire musical. I had it on my laptop.
And she said, oh my gosh.
I had a demo recording and we sat with the script and I took her through it.
Yeah.
And after the, 2 hours or so, she goes, oh my God, this is amazing. We have to do this. So then we started the process of getting it going in Hong Kong.
Yeah. Actually, beginning, we were not even thinking of making a movie or whatever. We just wanted to
stage it, take some pictures. The filming of it was just, hey, it was a glorified archival recording, we thought.
Yes.
But then as it came closer to the thing, we said, hey, let's give this recording a shot. While we're recording, why don't we just try to do a good job at it?
Yeah.
Right. So that's what happened.
Yeah, my sister just say like, you know what? Get the audience in. Why not? Get the audience in.
Yeah, let's get an audience in.
And then she tried her best, but she's in the ballet field, right? So she tried her best, but we got the audience in, and they loved. I'm so glad that we got them in because we have feedback from them and they loved the musical. They were crying. They were standing ovation, which Hong Kong people don't do usually because they're more reserved.
As we were striking the set, people were lining up, hoping there was another show.
Yes.
Oh, that is so cool. Yeah. And from what I've read, this was Hong Kong's first original musical. It was, Hong Kong had only had Phantom and Les Mis.
Yeah, I never checked the validity of that, but that writer definitely seemed to think so. I'll take that.
Yeah. Oh, that's so special. And I'm so glad that you did choose to film it more professionally than just an archival recording. So who filmed it for you?
Well, we hired a company called Bravo, and they were a great team. So we just worked with them. I sat up there with them. I knew exactly what they were doing, and so we worked together. Yeah.
And when it came to the editing process, how did that work?
Well, we originally had it edited in Hong Kong with Bravo, and then sorry,
You're okay.
With Bravo, And then so that was great. It was a good enough cut to show potential producers or theater companies. You know, we did that a bit, but then COVID came, and then when we tried to show it in film festivals, you know, we started getting a good response, and then we started winning awards, which was surprising to us. We never thought we'd actually, well, because we didn't know if this was actually a movie.
Yeah.
You know, but that people would consider. So, you know, obviously some festivals didn't accept it, which is fine, that's their right. But others did. And they invited us, and then so when we started seeing it at festivals on the big screen, I realized, oh, we have to make changes. We need a lot more close-ups. We need to do a lot more things. So early on in the film festival circuit process, we re-edited it, put in a lot more close-ups, medium shots, sharpen the picture, blew it up to 4K, you know, so we did a lot of stuff. So by the end of 2022 into 2023, it was a far better picture than it was when we first started. So film-wise, you know, film quality-wise. So
Yeah.
so
That's
that was
so fascinating. I love that you were able, that the footage was of the quality that you could do that.
yeah, we were glad we saved
and
it.
we actually use the latest technology, like trying our best to make it, you know, better quality and add some stuff on it, right? Like the double happiness and.
Well, there was a lot of projections in our production, but not all of them came across clearly in the film version. So we had to put in our own graphics to simulate what we had done in the show in some point. But other projections, we had the actual projections from the show, and then we just put them on the screen. So it looks very filmic. I think that's one of another reason it was considered a film, because it was very filmic, you know, cinematic, I mean, in that way. Yeah.
And I think that works really well. Like I wouldn't have known that those projections were not part of the production, that the way you've been able to put them together. It's
Only
very
one
seamless.
only one projection wasn't, but we had that projection, but we had to change it to a new one. But it was the exact same thing. It was the double happiness wedding symbol. But it just didn't come across when we filmed it, so we just superimposed our own at the end, and it actually looks better.
Yeah.
So
I'm curious. I have a couple of questions. First of all, so like in the US, when you film a stage production, there's lots of union contracts, and rules around A, what you can film, and then B, what you pay everybody. So what are there similar rules in Hong Kong around what you can film and who?
That's a very good question, because in Hong Kong we had a production team, because we knew we were going to film it, and we didn't know exactly what we were going to use the film for other than pitch it, but we did know we would use it for marketing and everything. So we had them release all that. We had every performer release the rights for us to use it. So it was in their contracts. So that gave us freedom to do it. Yeah, because they didn't have a union. We didn't have to deal with unions.
They're freelancers, and they don't have the tight union like what we have in US and Canada. So it's easier for us to.
That's why it was easy for us to bring Scott in.
Yeah.
You know, veteran Broadway guy from the States to come in to Hong Kong. No problem. No union to deal with.
Yeah.
And Harriet from Canada, no problem.
Yeah.
And I love, like you were talking about seeing the audience in the shot in the film, which I think you're able to capture the magic of the energy that happens between the audience and the stage. I think that you can capture that on film, and I love that you can hear the audience cheering and clapping, and I think that's a very special part of this capture.
Yeah.
When you were performing and filming, Harriet, were you aware of the cameras, or is it something that like you just kind of tune it out and focus on doing the show?
No, when I'm on stage, I'm Golden Lotus. It's funny when in other production, I'll be a little bit worried when I go on stage, but this is the biggest role I ever take. And when I'm on stage, I was so relaxed. I'm like, finally, I am on stage and I can fully enjoy this moment as Golden Lotus, because there's a lot of distraction even in the studio. I have to deal with the director. We have to negotiate things, and I worry about a lot of things when I was in rehearsal, and it's tough. But when I was on stage, I can finally enjoy my moments. And of course, camera doesn't exist for me at all. And yeah, I just remember the first like opening night when I go up there as Golden Lotus. I said, "Oh my God, I can soak it in, and I can relax now." So that's why I think that's why my performance is good, because I was so relaxed and finally I can enjoy this moment on stage.
Mm. And to have been a part of the creation of this role and this show from the very beginning, that like you have been there from the get-go.
Yeah, I'm almost quit. I actually almost quit because I was scared. I said, well, you know what? If this production is done by, this title role is done by a famous Hong Kong star, like the production will go further. That's what I said. And then thank you,
We actually
George.
talked to some Hong Kong
Yes,
stars
and
that are quite big.
yeah, and also my sister said, you give birth to this baby and you want to give it away? I'm like, you're so right. They said, do it. Don't chicken out now. I'm like, okay, I'll do my best. I'll try my best. And said, you can do it. So yeah, this is how, again, it's fate. It's fate, really. Like I almost quit.
That's beautiful. I love that you care so much about the show that you were kind of willing to give it away to give it a bigger life, but I'm so glad that you didn't. And now award-winning actress Harriet Chung.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very grateful. And I'm very humbled by, this is an amazing musical, and I got a chance to play the title role, and I worked with a lot of talents, and I learned so much. I learned so much during this process, because as I said, this is the biggest role I ever done. And yeah, I'm humbled by this experience, and I go through a lot of ups and downs, and there's like moments that I freaked out and I have to call my one of the maestro in Canada. I'm like, I cannot do this, I cannot do this. He said, you can just breathe and go to the wall and do this and that and that. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. It's just the actors freaking out moment. I have a few of those. And I also, for the song A World Away, I didn't find my sound until really very close to the performance, because this is a brand new show, brand new song that you don't see other people doing it. You're creating the role. It's very amazing that I can create a role, but also I want to see what kind of angle I can pursue this role. And I said, this is not right yet. This is not right yet. I keep filming myself during rehearsal period. I literally have a little room. I do a lot of extra rehearsal myself, little room, and I put a camera right in front of me, and I'm going through the journey. I'm like, what can I do better? How can I do better? This is not right yet. Okay, this is right now. And I will grab this little moment and I will put this together. And I'm very, very proud. At the end, I usually don't like anything like on film or pictures, and I'm very critical. Everybody's critical of themselves, right? When I first see Golden Lotus, I was like, oh my God, this is actually amazing. This is actually good. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I was in tears, seriously. And when I get the review, and George was saying, Harriet, you got a really good review. I'm like, yeah, right. I thought he was joking. Seriously, that day I still remember. And I said, okay, I can take this review and go to like my coffin. I can smile.
Stick it on your website.
Yeah, that's the great moment. This is like highlight on my career, really.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And I would love to touch on the music a little bit, with the beautiful arrangements by George Gao. this fusion of pop rock and traditional Chinese music. Can you speak to that a little more, George?
Yeah, well, my melodies were basically primarily I did some of the Chinese melodies, but George did the arrangements, so he had the harmonies and the instrumentation. So we wanted the musical to be pop, more rock, some rock, but you always we wanted people to feel you were in China. So we wanted to have a little bit of Chinese something in each of the numbers,
It's like fusion.
which we did.
Yes.
We made sure there
yeah.
was at least some Chinese instrument
Yes.
or some kind of Chinese harmonies in
Yeah.
everything in every musical number. So
Yeah. But if it's too Chinese, then people like won't understand this, because we want it to be very universal. So we put in the Chinese music element, which give the really good flavor, and it's amazing. Yeah,
I
people
think
love
it works really well because,
Yeah.
like, for me, like a white Western person, I love the pop rock stuff. Obviously, like, I understand, and I grew up listening to that. But the Chinese music I wasn't so familiar with, but I love how, like, the fusion is a perfect word of to describe how the music works, and it's so thrilling to listen to. It's so exciting, and
Yeah.
it's
great.
I love the score so much. It's very
Great.
it's so unique. It's nothing like I've heard before.
Great, thanks. I remember when we did the workshop in New York at ASCAP, and you present the musical in front of all these Broadway composers and stuff. So Stephen Schwartz was one of them, Craig Carnelia and stuff. And yeah, every single one of the panelists said the music was very special. And Stephen Schwartz said it was terrific. So
Mm.
yeah, they all agree it's a unique sound, but one that works really well. So
Yeah. Do you think what will be next for the show? Are future productions planned?
well, we're hoping. Yeah, we're talking to a couple of very big companies in Canada. So knock on wood. And
Yeah.
we've also had a serious talk with a Broadway producer. So it all hinges on what happens here in Canada in the next couple of years. So
Yeah. Oh, that's
fingers
exciting.
crossed.
So I'm curious, like we talked before that you had filmed it initially. The idea to film was to have it as like an archival recording to have for investors or future productions. What has been, apart from the like bazillion of awards that you have won, what has been like the benefit of entering the film into film festivals?
Well, first of all, it was a good source of validation, for us, the creative team, myself, everyone involved in the production, because we did it in Hong Kong, and we were awarded there with theater award, nice theater award there. But to have people all around the world, like different countries, different continents, all say that this is actually, really good, was very validating.
Yeah. Like
for
yourself
all of us.
saying that you love the music and it really means so much to us.
Yeah, so
Really.
it was validating.
Yes.
But on a more professional level, it did bring it did. I mean, it wouldn't have gone on to Stratfest at home had we not done the film festival circuit, because they would never have heard of it. And I mean, I did present it to their theater department, but that's separate from the streaming department, the different departments. But and also the Broadway producer we talked about heard about it through one of the film festivals we were at.
Yeah.
So and he talked to us directly because of our participation in the festival and the awards we won.
That's amazing. I love that. I think this is it's another model. It's another way for people to get their work out there, that
Exactly.
it
Yeah.
doesn't have to go to Broadway. It doesn't have to go to off Broadway. It doesn't even have to be produced in the US to have a future life.
Yeah, we never imagined this journey, but the fact that it's taken this journey and we're here now, we're fine, we're happy, and
We're very grateful.
we're looking forward to the
Yeah.
future too.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say to other writers or artists who are hesitant to film and stream their work?
Well, okay, well, first of all, before I signed the licensing deal with Stratfest at Home, I asked the two big companies in Canada, would this affect your decision on streaming on if I stream it on Stratfest at Home, would it affect your decision on producing the musical? They said absolutely not. Both the companies, and one of the artistic directors said, "You should definitely take this opportunity. It's an awesome opportunity. Take advantage of it. Get it out there. This is awesome." And she congratulated me, and she said, "Go for it. This does not affect it at all." And the other company was saying, you know, like they were saying, a digital video recording of a show is nothing compared to a live show. So people will still see, even if they've seen your video production, and if they like it, they'll definitely probably go see the real production, because that's where it belongs.
That's the real
that's the
one,
real
yes.
deal, right?
Yeah.
So that's what they were saying. So based on their feedback, I said, yeah, let's do this, because
That makes
it gets
me
it out
so
there.
happy.
More people have seen it now, and people around the world. It actually is a very interesting tool to make people around the world know about your musical. Now that it's streamed, anybody in every continent
Yeah.
can just go online and go and see it now. That's kind of cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really, really great. And I'm so glad that Stratfest at Home have given you this platform
Yeah,
to
we are
share your
too.
work. And I'm really thrilled that these producers were not afraid of the digital, because it is still an industry fear that,
Yeah.
you know, if we stream it, people won't come. But the opposite is true. I mean, all the numbers say that, you know, stream it and they will come.
Yeah, look
Exactly.
at
That's what those
Hamilton.
companies told me.
Look at
Yeah.
Hamilton. It's on. You can see it at home.
Yeah.
More people will want to see it live, because oh my God, it's so amazing on screen. So we are going to see it live. We're going to see it live.
Yeah, it's still going strong on Broadway.
Yeah.
And
And exactly. Hamilton is, I mean, it is an anomaly in like it's how superstar status it is, but I think it was a smart strategy for them to release it the way they did, because post-pandemic, it's still going strong, you know, and like you said, anyone can go onto Disney Plus and watch Hamilton, but people, when they come to New York, that's going to be one of the first things on their list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For many people. Yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully now when Golden Lotus gets produced, people will say, I want to see that. I saw that at Stratfest at Home.
Yes.
Exactly.
This is our dream.
I think people like to know that they got in on the in early. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So this has just been so delightful. I'm congratulations on all the awards that you have won, and the work that you have put behind this show. And I'm so glad that, again, it's available for people to watch. This is my final segment. It's called My Favorite Things, where I ask you my favorite questions.
These are a few of my favorite things.
To start off with, what is your favorite musical?
Mine? Yours? Mine, Notre Dame de Paris and Les Mis. It's the same as yours.
yeah, those would be my two favorites.
You know, too. I have one newfound favorite is Water for Elephants. Yeah.
Yeah, we just saw that on Broadway.
It's like
it's a good musical. Water for Elephants.
Yeah, it's added to
it's based on a novel.
My favorite thing. Yeah.
Okay, now I have to add that to. I have to prioritize that now.
Yeah, and you tell me after you watch it.
I will.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite filmed live musical?
Film live musical. I love Cats. Well, I was in Cats, but the film live.
That wasn't live though.
On stage is kind of well.
They
set up many cameras. It's a stage production. It's the stage production. Yes, and it was so creative how they film it, because I was in the show, so I know what's going on in the show, right? So when they set up, I think like over 10 or 15 or 20, something ridiculous, because they cannot film it over and over again, because they can only do it once or twice maximum, and they will be dead because they're singing and dancing. So when I watched the filmed version, on stage film version, I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible camera work.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of not a live musical, but it's on stage.
Yeah, it was like they filmed the stage version but adapted it
Yes.
for film.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought the
Yeah.
Hamilton production was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
it's very
very good. Very, very professionally done. Looked beautiful.
Yeah.
So that was a good one. And
Yeah.
I
So we
also like the classic, the Les Mis in concert. That
Yes,
Oh,
which
yeah.
one? The 10th
Les Mis in
anniversary or the
concert.
25th?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, the
25th,
that
right?
big one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah. It's very good. And I can see
I
all the Jean Valjean. It's amazing. Yes.
I love that there's like 3 versions of Les Mis now, like the film versions. There's the 10th anniversary, the 20th, is the 20th, and then there's the stage concert version. I haven't watched the last one yet, but the 10th anniversary with all the Jean Valjean singing in different
Yeah.
languages is so
Yeah, it's
powerful.
amazing. Yeah, powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that this is how these musicals are remembered because people watch these films. So we
Yeah.
kind of touched on this a little bit before that, you know, it's a film stage show is not a film. So hence can you enter it into a film festival? But if a filmed live musical is not a stage show and it's not a movie, what should we call it?
Musical film? Can we do that?
Well,
Filmed musical? Not a movie.
we understand that the complexity of that.
Yeah.
So we always call it a live capture
Live capture.
of our stage production. So which I think which is what it is. I mean, it's live recording of our stage production.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I like live capture too. It's such a tricky thing because people are
it
like,
is
I don't know
tricky.
what you're talking about.
It is tricky.
Yeah. Where do you stand on bootlegs?
You say first. Out.
No, like bootlegs. Well, people can bootleg anything now. You just play it on your screen. You can either screen record in some cases or just film it, or there's torrents. So, as a creator, you rather not see it, of course, because because there's a lot of time and money that goes into these projects. So, and now that streaming's so affordable, you prefer if people just pay the few bucks and just stream it.
Yeah, and also sometimes bootleg for tiny bit thing that can promote. They can promote. Oh, this is good, so they can totally stream.
Well, some productions
Sometimes
actually allow you to record
yeah, the ending.
like live recordings. You
The
can record
ending.
like the ending or a
Yeah,
little bit.
so that is a good
And
strategy.
we were actually in a show in Vegas that they said
now you can record.
you can record anything.
Yeah, and put it on social media.
Because they were allowing I guess they think it's advertising, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also thanks for bootleg. I got my little Germany clips on stage. Otherwise I would never have it.
Oh,
Oh,
one
that's
of her
interesting.
cast members, when she did Cats in Germany,
They hide the camera.
snuck somewhere in the theater and filmed
Yeah. I
the
have
production.
my little clips of my singing and dancing. Yes. So
Ah.
bootleg for creator, not so great. For actress, yes, sometimes it's great. Right.
That's a really interesting, like there's a tension between those two things that
But that's just for her
Yeah.
memory.
Just for my
Yeah.
memory.
Yeah, it's not to make
Yeah.
money. Yeah.
Yeah.
but archival, like the history of it, some of the most the best footage that we have of Broadway from like the 60s and the 70s is from this one guy that filmed surreptitiously, but it's like the only footage we have of some of these shows.
Yeah.
And
Thanks for that guy.
yeah.
And we always
he-
have the comparison with like the Miss Saigon singing this and that. Which Miss Saigon is the best? Which Christina the best? Is all the Epiphany? Those things are all bootleg. And those
yeah,
are
all the Glindas, all the Elphabas.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Miles
Yes.
Kruger is that guy's name. He's out in
Oh,
Hollywood,
wow.
and he wants to create a musical theater museum, and he has all these like reels and reels of footage, and it's contentious because he like lives in this house in LA that's prone to fire and flood and earthquake, and it's like we should be this reel should be in a
vault.
house in a special vault. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very difficult, it's a tricky world.
Okay.
What stage musicals do you wish had been filmed?
Water for Elephants. Water for
But
Elephants.
that's a
There's
new
still time.
musical.
I'm
There's still
so
lots of
kidding.
time.
Yeah, lots of time. Which one? Yeah.
That I wish.
Oh, Notre Dame already on film. Yes.
Yeah, Notre Dame 3 has a version
Oh, does it?
that's
Like a
filmed.
filmed version?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
That's not in my
you have to
database. I
see
need
it,
to
man.
add it.
yeah, you should watch
Yeah,
it.
you have
Yeah,
to see it. Yeah.
there's
Where
clips
was
of
it
it on
filmed?
YouTube. I think in the early 2000s.
Okay. Do you know where?
Probably in Paris. Yeah.
Oh, I have to check that
Yeah,
out.
because it's in French, right? Like, okay, there was an English version done in Vegas, but it
No,
didn't translate well.
It's not good.
So the French version is the one that's got around more.
Yeah.
So I recommend you see that. I think it has subtitles too. So
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Très bien.
Yeah.
That's the extent of my French.
So many musical can put in the film. How can we choose? So many. They can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Phantom was already on film. Les Mis on film. Miss
I don't
Saigon.
think a live production of Les Mis has been on film, has it?
Just
Just
the
the
state, just
concert.
the
No,
concert
just the-
versions.
Just the
Yeah.
concert, yeah.
version.
Yeah, and I haven't
Oh,
seen
you're
a
talking about live?
yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a
Oh, Les
Phantom.
Mis.
I haven't seen a
Phantom.
Phantom.
Phantom. No,
So
Phantom. 2.
definitely Les Mis.
Yeah, Phantom 2.
That would be
is-
cool to see a
Les
real
Mis.
live production of Les Mis
Yeah, yeah, Les
on
Mis.
stage. Yeah.
Yeah, and Miss
And
Saigon
Phantom,
too.
they did like a concert version as well. The 25th anniversary at Royal Albert Hall was filmed.
Yes.
Oh,
But
Yes, because
the
all the
full production.
spectacle, right? All the spectacle.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I would
What-
love to see Miss Saigon as well.
That's they filmed the London production, the
Oh,
revival.
they did?
Yeah, with Leia, not Leia, Eva Noblezada, who I know you just saw in Gatsby. She is
Oh, yeah.
in Miss Saigon.
Oh,
Oh, I
Gary.
didn't
Wow,
know that.
she's incredible. She was
It was
amazing.
her breakout role. It was
Wow, I can totally
yeah.
see.
It's so
totally-
good.
Cool.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Cool.
John Briones, who is currently in Hadestown, he is the engineer.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Really great
Oh.
production.
Okay.
What would you like to see filmed in the future?
Filmed?
You mean musical?
Stage musical filmed live.
Yeah, in the future it's Water
Right.
for Elephant.
I like to see
Love
I
that.
like to see a full version of Les Mis.
Yeah, full.
There we-
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
yeah, full version.
Have to get them to reopen because I know they reduced it in the West End. They after the pandemic they opened a reduced version, so we need to bring back the full version.
What do you mean reduce? Like what they cut?
They like
cut
reduced
off?
the orchestra and there's like different
Oh,
projections and things now. I haven't seen the new version,
Oh,
but
really?
they reduced it in the West End.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. And you know what? I love Little Mermaid too, but they close so
Yes.
quickly.
I
don't know
know.
why. Little
I
Mermaid is
love
so-
that score. That's like one of my guilty pleasures.
Yeah, like all the music and the staging and all this like really clever, all the on skates. They were on skates.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Like I don't know why they closed so early. Like they didn't run for a long time. So that is something that they should put it back up.
Yeah.
And usually, like Lion King run forever, and then I don't understand why the Little Mermaid not, right? It's so good. And the
Go
film
figure.
came out and was great. The latest film was
Oh.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so sad they didn't use the music from the stage show in the new movie, in the live action version.
They missed the most incredible opening song. The all the mermaids was like, oh, we are the daughters of Trident. That one.
Yes.
Why do they have that song? That
I-
was crazy. That was crazy. So
Why
yeah,
aren't we in charge?
yeah, they missed some songs that like the big nice songs, but they have some other few other like cute numbers in there. They throw in a few new cute numbers, so it's okay. Yeah.
And finally, where can we find you online?
Well,
Everywhere, we're everywhere.
Golden Lotus has a website,
Yes.
goldenlotusthemusical.com.
Yes.
I have my own at George Chiang, CHIANG.org. And she has one at harrietchung.com.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're on Instagram and on YouTube as well.
Yeah, you can find all our social links on those websites.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
And I will have links to all of that in the show notes, including a link to where you can watch Golden Lotus at Stratfest.
Great.
George and
Thank you
Harriet,
so
thank you so
much.
much for your time today.
Thank
It
you
has
very
just been
much.
truly delightful.
Thank you.
you.
Same here. Thank you so much.
The Filmed Live Musicals podcast is created and edited by your host, Luisa Lyons. FilmedLiveMusicals.com features information on over 200 film stage musicals from around the world and dating back to 1938, a newsletter with upcoming streams, and this very podcast. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Filmed Live Musicals is very much a labor of love. Thank you to all of our new members following on Patreon. An extra special thanks to our paying members, Josh Brandon, Belinda Broido, Jeremy Brull, Ralph Carhart, Elliot Charles, Vincent Doyon, Rachel Esteban, Mercedes Esteban Lyons, Hannah Graneman, Alison Matthews, David Negrin, Jesse Rabinowitz and Brenda Goodman, David and Catherine Rabinowitz, and Joe Tillotson. Your financial support helps to continue the preservation of the history of filmed stage musicals and the curation of one easy place to find them all. You can now make a one-off or a recurring tax-deductible donation to Filmed Live Musicals via The Field. Visit filmedlivemusicals.com to learn more. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and thanks for listening.